Welcome everyone. We were just discussing that there are 354 people on the call today, and it's the 354th day of the year. So beautiful divine numbers today. It feels like there's every person for every day of the year that we've experienced so far. Obviously, everyone's holding a certain particular frequency of a particular time this year, and that's really what this Star Codon is about, this reflection of the year and moving into this beautiful winter solstice time. And this was Bella's idea, really. Bella mentioned as we've been going through the Star Codons course that she felt that we needed to work with something in the transit of the sun at this time. And of course, this time is a very special time for everyone in the ancient traditions into the more modern versions. And so this beautiful star codon that we haven't even got to yet in the course, this is what we're now making available for everybody to come and watch and participate. And this is such a deeply beautiful work that we're finding within ourselves and the group of activating our own DNA that's connected to the astrology. So it's going to be really great. And we're going to offer at the end of this, there's actually going to be a guided meditation as well.
Why I felt it was important to do this is that some of you have already watched the intro to the star codons where we're speaking about them. For me, it's so important to not just speak about things, but to actually experience them. And for that, I felt it was important to bring in like a taste of what it is to be activated or to be in contact with those star codons. That's why we're doing this today, so that you have a glimpse of what it could be. That is important, even more important than to understand what it is like how it feels, how does it touch you. So that's hopefully what you're going to have an experience of today.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we're doing this guided meditation as well, because there's plenty of things to speak about, but as Bella's saying, the whole idea is to, and we keep emphasizing this as we're going through the course, is to feel this, to have a direct experience of this. And so all of these parts will build up a beautiful picture that will allow you to be transported into this beautiful void. So hexagram 10, Stargate 10, it's the same hexagram, same number that you may be familiar with in different systems. And through the star codons, it came through that this is connected to the void. And there's a genetic reason why this happened. And this is what we're going to reveal, this new discovery in how the DNA connects to the hexagrams, to the I Ching, connects to the astrology. And really, it's building off of the beautiful work that Ra did with the human design system, where he connected the amino acids and the DNA to the hexagram system. And then the star codons has then looked at the different part of the DNA. And this different part of the DNA is revealing new aspects within our genetic code. And it's really taking it into this next octave, into the next dimensions of experiences. So it really is this sort of pioneering new precipice that we're on. And it just feels so perfect to be doing this at this time. So this new aspect of connecting all of the stargates, the hexagrams, and the zodiac with the amino acids is actually connected in through the maternal DNA. So what's been known before, what Ra had placed out, was what we know as the normal two-strand DNA, which is called nuclear DNA. Whereas the maternal DNA is the sort of our ancient ancestry, and it's the feminine aspect to the transmission, to linking. So this is what I did. I mapped out the whole maternal DNA into the hexagrams and gates, and that revealed new discoveries. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit about maternal DNA because it's absolutely amazing. So maternal mitochondrial DNA is an incredible powerhouse that's driving your life in ways you can't even imagine. Unlike nuclear DNA, which comes from both your parents and encoded with every generation. MT, which is mitochondrial DNA, is pure. It's untouched. It's straight from your mother line. It's your direct link to an unbroken chain of maternal ancestry going back 300,000 years, allowing us to trace right back to where humanity began with first Eve, which is, in science, they actually speak of it as mitochondrial Eve, as first Eve. Maternal DNA isn't just about heritage, it has a mission. It is the command center of cellular energy production that powers everything you do, producing amino acids that align to the I Ching hexagrams as star codons. Its mutation rate makes it a perfect biological clock for understanding human advancement in alignment with the stars of the zodiac and the great year cycles. Maternal DNA isn't just a passenger in your genetic story, it is the unsung heroine. She is the mother vine as the golden thread that connects us to the past whilst powering us into the future Aquarian age of the sixth root race that I disclosed in the Lost Octave called the Maruvians. By activating the star codons, you are directly tapping into the very essence of life itself as the genetic answers of our universe. So you can see this unsung heroine is now making herself known to this transmission to be shared into the world, this pure, untouched DNA code that has been passed down through generations from the feminine line. And that's why we can trace back through the star codons all the way back through our family tree, through our mothers, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, into 7 generations back, 16 generations back, as wherever your genetic code started, that is where you can start to track back, heal, and activate those codes from all of that ancestry in order to propel you forwards into this new age. So there's a new discovery that we found in this, and this is the hexagram Stargate 10, and in the DNA code, this is the science part of the star codons, where all of the genetic code is calculated to the hexagrams. And so we know scientifically that this is an actual thing. It's not something that is just plucked out of the air or intuited in that way. It's this aspect of these things are calculated and linked. And that's why I feel it's really special that we can connect the heavenly with the biological, the earthly. And that's really where the Aquarian age human is coming online. This Stargate 10 is connected to Capricorn, and this is cardinal earth, the element. And the hexagram in the I Ching is known as treading, and it's got some interesting expansions on that. And one of them is treading on the tail of the tiger. And so it's this kind of energy that can be a little bit tricky if you don't know how to move through it. And it's this time of sort of endings and beginnings. And so this is why this treading on the tail of the tiger, it's this, is there going to be a reaction? Are you going to feel safe? It's this sort of question mark that happens at the end of the year. In the hexagram, it is heaven over lake, which is really beautiful because we've got these deep waters at the base and that sort of heavenly portal into the void space. We look at in the nuclear DNA, which is what you would classify as the normal DNA, this codes for an amino acid, arginine, in the genetic code. And this is where I found the maternal DNA was different. In the maternal DNA, this is actually a stop codon. This stops that entire flow of the genetic code. It finishes it. And this is so important because this is the time of when the sun comes into the winter solstice and it descends down for 3 days to then be reborn on Christmas Day. And so this perfectly matches the maternal flow and movement cycle of every single year. And to see that what's happening in the cosmos and what's happening in the biology through the mother line is exactly the same. It mirrors each other. And to me, that was just this amazing revelation of this code and these star codons. We speak about in the Lost Octave this idea of the star law that was introduced into the hexagrams of the I Ching, and starting to pick out more of the story of the stars. In most astrology in the zodiac, it's the 12 signs or 13 signs, or as I revealed, the 14th sign. But that's only a small percentage of the whole of astronomy and astrology. And so with the star law, that is all the other constellations that are surrounding the zodiac. And there are 36 of those, and they're known as the Decans. And so in the star law of the void, there is this story of Sagitta, the arrow, which I'll expand upon as we go through. This is connected to part of our auric body, part of our subtle bodies. And this particular hexagram, this Stargate, is connected to what is known as the Buddhic body, but it is also known as the Christ body or Christic body. So isn't that really interesting that at this moment of the Christ being born, which is the sun being reborn again after the winter solstice, that this links into the same story again on an auric level around your own physical form. And this is how the star codons start to fill out and start to harmonize all of these planes above and below, within and without. And this is a really key aspect to what we share in the star codons, is the way to experience this hexagram. There's a lot said about these things and different teachings, but how do we have a direct experience? And this is in a category of the hypnotic, and it's hypnotic mastery. And hypnotism is one of those funny things where it can be seen as something comedic, but it can also be seen as something therapeutic. And the hypnotic realm is also the realm of trance. And this sometimes in the lower levels can be that we are in a trance and unaware. But the mastery of the hypnotic space or trance-like space is about moving you into an altered state in order to experience something that is transcendental, but also deeper within the body. So when we move through the meditation, you may feel or experience this feeling that is different to your normal senses. It's switching on the extrasensory perceptions, moving you into a brain frequency. And this could either be in the deep rest, or this can take you into a higher sort of gamma wave state in terms of your brain functions. But these are all the ways you can play. And now we have an access point of how to actually directly experience it. In here we have what we call the chemiluminescence, which is perhaps one of my favorite words, which is the luminescence, the light of the chemistry inside of you, the chemical reactions that are happening inside of your body through the DNA, the genes, the proteins, the amino acids. They are creating this luminescence, this chemistry, this alchemy. And this one is connected to the endorphins of relief. And endorphins they can be seen as this sort of rush of energy, but actually what they are doing is they are taking the weight off of you. They are releasing you. And that's what this whole hexagram is about. It's about taking you into everything that's happened this year and just starting to let go. And that's the winter solstice point. And the final part of these technical aspects is that through the quadrinity psychology, which is a special psychology and psyche of how to work through this entire process, this is a transformational channel, which basically means that it is a bodily experience. It's an alchemical experience, just a transcendental. It's more of a somatic, shamanic way of moving through the dream worlds, moving through dimensions. And so that's where it can be very visionary. And that's why this beautiful image that I drew and created was this sort of snapshot of the vision that I experienced through this. Knowing all of that and your experience of Stargate 10, Bella, how does it feel to know that this is a stop codon in the maternal DNA?
That connects me to the womb. And even just looking at those keywords that we have, the cardinal earth, for me, it is so connected to the earth. And looking at the element, the heaven over lake, I'm Swedish. And I remember those days in the summer when you can just sit in a trance and you see a lake and the heaven over the lake and the sun, and it's so crisp and so beautiful, like the beauty of the earth that we are on. And it takes us to those places where we just float through the dimensions. At the same time, I'm thinking about the somatic experience that you're saying. What is it to be on Earth, like an Earth being? What is it to be human? This makes me think about when Christ was born, because he comes from a womb, and the womb is the darkness. The darkest night of the year is going to be now for the northern hemisphere, and it's the holding, the gestation. You are saying everything that happened in the gestation, whether that's 9 months or whatever it is that we are gestating, that is held in that womb. And then the womb is one dimension, and then as earth beings we come out of that womb into a somatic experience and into a transformation process that never ends, because it's just different dimensions. So for me, this is a portal in so many ways, a portal that's very tangible in terms of what it is to be human, but also a portal into the void beyond everything, which is also the womb of the universe, or the cosmic womb, if that's the way we want to speak about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful. And it's this opportunity, the winter solstice, is to enjoy this stopping, this sort of time just to allow and be in that space, because that is actually what's happening inside of your DNA code. So it's no longer just a sort of a celebration of our holidays. The all of these ancient traditions perhaps in some way knew that this resonated deeply within their body, and so could tune into their DNA code and realize that there is a natural stopping, a natural ending before we give birth into this brand new solar energy of a Christmas day. So this is Sagitta. This is the star law. This is the first decan in Capricorn. And this is known as the arrow or the lightning bolt of Zeus. And so essentially it's the arrow from Sagittarius. And this is where we can really dive into the deeper layers of how to bring this alive. What does this really mean in terms of its mythology and story? So in the Star Law story, Sagitta is the arrow of Zeus, and Zeus is Jupiter in Sagittarius, gate 67 in the Lost Octave, who shoots the arrow of lightning from his bow to liberate that which is keeping you bound. This arrow of truth kills the sun upon the winter solstice so that it can be reborn into a new octave of experience. This is the battle of the Titans in this Greek myth between the Titan Kronos as Saturn and the Olympian Zeus as Jupiter. And right there at the winter solstice, we have this battle every single year, this ancient Greek myth of the battle of the Titans, with Sagitta being this arrow that's being shot to pierce the sun, to create that ending before we move into the new beginning. This act of impermanence is how you become the eternal child that cannot be bound by time or material things. Although you will experience a sense of endings, it is also the law of octaves as a new beginning. When you enter the void, the cosmic mother womb of all creation, you soon discover the radiance of iridescent spirit, leaving the wheel of countless rebirths to find the greatest secret treasure within your cave of light, the true self. This is the winter solstice as the sun, or as the sun, S-O-N, upon December 21st, that descends to its lowest point for 72 hours as the sacred 3 days and 3 nights before being born again upon December 25th as Christmas Day. So this is the story that's been written in the stars since the beginning of human existence. And this is where we see and where we get all of our solar festivals, where we get these mythological stories and variations, is that we would look up at the grand gallery, right? It's the best free cinema you can look at. You look up at the stars and they would narrate over the campfires these battles of the planets and the stars and how everything is moving. And this is how we start to understand the archetypes within us. So this is this point of the treading on the tiger's tail, right? Is like this battle that ensues because we have to collapse the old. We give thanks to what has been, but in order to move into the new, we have to honor the ending. We have to let the arrow of Sagitta, the lightning bolt, destroy, liberate us from everything that we've held up to this point so we can move unburdened and free into the next phase. Anything you want to share on the story, Bella?
Yeah, the true self and the naturalness of being human, right? And that is also to allow the things to leave when they are done, and that's how we evolve. So yeah. Mm.
Okay. So this is the transmission from the actual star codon of the void. So now we've built up this picture. I would just like to invite you, like I do when we're doing our course, is just to, you can close your eyes even and just feel into this. Because although there's lots of parts and bits and alignments and astrology, ultimately the whole idea of why we're learning astrology is to learn more about ourselves. And so the codons allow us to go internally, seeing the stars, but allow us to move internally and feel. This is called between worlds, transforming form into emptiness. And I'll just say that form is very much connected to Saturn. And that's why this Stargate connected to 10 in Capricorn is this idea of breaking free of the form, or revealing the fact that there is this vast spaciousness within the form. Whichever way you wish to perceive it, both are correct, both are right. So the star codon of the void is a stop codon in the maternal mother DNA, a natural feminine moment of inertia between the winter solstice, Christmas, and New Year's Day. Here, your familiar light of life's current trajectory is struck with the coup de grace, the lightning bolt, the arrow of Zeus that obliterates your form into the divine feminine blackness of the void. This is the stargate into the mother womb of all creation through the gate of the gods in Capricorn. With this mercy blow of spiritual light, you enter an altered state spontaneously to experience reality from a new dimension, one devoid of the physical senses and orientation into a new way of being with the extrasensory psychic abilities. This is the cosmic mother releasing you from constraint, transitioning into simply being, as the gravitational force that seeps through dimensions pulls you through the vanishing point of no return. floating back into the ambiotic superfluid, amniotic superfluid. You enter a realm of silent magnitude, of pitch blackness, where no direction can be found. Here there is only you and the ever-present awareness in relief as you sense the mother cradling you like many incarnations before. This is where you experience the true spatial dimensions between the layers of time, between worlds, where you will know all form as emptiness. Suspended in the timeless potential of life itself, you confirm your unmistakable merging as the immeasurable space of the void. This is the dark matter of the quantum field, infused with light beyond light, as an iridescent aura, where the star codon of the void is genetically paired as lovers with the star codon of becoming. So this is what we do. This is what we do in the space. We receive this, we feel this, we pick this apart, we dive into a phrase, a sentence for you to work on, you to feel with, to go over. It's so rich in what its message is trying to convey. And it's this idea of this obliteration, right? If you're struck by lightning, then you're completely obliterated. Your whole form is fragmented. But this is the divine obliteration. This is the blessing of the lightning bolt of Zeus to free you from the constructs, from the constraints that you may have or perceive in your life, so that you can be pulled through into the return of into the mother womb, the great cosmic womb. And in there, that's where you can just be. You can just be for a moment, for this stop, this pause, just for a time, to be without agenda, without thoughts, without feeling or having to do something. Just this coup de grace is this, the mercy blow, right? It means that it's the death that's done with grace. And that is this winter solstice point of the solar light is in this process of this death and resurrection, this ending to have a new beginning. And this is just the natural part of all life. And this is reminding you of the journey that you have had through many different incarnations, over and over, being birthed through this cosmic mother. And this is this beautiful connection that you can start to see space within the density of form. And as we know, when you zoom in through into form with a microscope, then you find space. And my theory that I proposed in the Lost Octave was that at some point when we can see all the way through to the tiniest amount with a microscope, we'll actually end up seeing space and the stars. It will be a complete mirror reflection of what we have outside of us. And I'm super excited when that gets proven to be true. This sort of toroidal field, that the deeper that we go down through the microscope, actually we return back to the macrocosm of the stars, and vice versa, and this beautiful forever torus field that we're in. So as you were speaking about the mother womb, Bella, that's exactly where we're going.
Here, I feel it's a good time to feel into what does this do with us. So what we just read here, this is a part of the text from the star codon, and how I've worked with them since this summer is that it's not just we read through them once. The first thing that I realized with this is that it's so essential. There are not a lot of extra word. Actually, like you say, you can take one sentence and that is basically a portal into something that can take you in so many places. The way that I have been working with them is to listen to them, and then either I'm doing my morning practice. Often it's movement that is quite soft movement, and that's how I feel like I receive them the most and that they speak to me the most. And then they are going to activate different things on us, and probably also depending on, are we doing it right now in the transit, might be more strong activations. Are we doing it any other time of the year, might be more subtle. And then if you have other things that are connected, because they're pairings, they're connecting to this one in your own stargates, like we call them in the star codons, your own hexagrams in your natal chart, that is also going to activate things in you. So what I feel with this, from my personal little way in, is that I have the pairing to this, which is hexagram 38, which often does a lot of forcing in the low frequency. And it's Capricorn energy that just feels like it should do and do and do. In order to really be efficient in the world, and in order to build structures that are constructive and that can stand the test of time, we need to do this process. We need to start over from zero with everything, with anything that we're building. I think that this is also a little bit of that fear that we have, the void. I have a lot of fourth lines in my stargates, and I was doing a webinar once with that kind of joke. The dark desire of a fourth line, which is like the worst thing that could ever happen, is to float in the void. And I think that that is a quite human thing. What is it to be obliterated? What is it to float in the void? What is it to reset from less than zero, to come back and live more fully, to come back and become more, like the pairing with the star code of becoming. So for me, what I also realize with, now that we're a field with about 50 people that are working with this, what I see is that we pop differently. We're like popcorns, and there are different things that are going to activate each one of you. I see in the chat, there are completely different kinds of comments. My way of experiencing trance, of experiencing emptiness, of experiencing obliteration, of experiencing even the womb, it's different. And even last night, I feel like there's a huge womb activation for me here. And we were speaking about that yesterday, Rob, too. It's like the reverence of the womb. That's what births truth. And that thing has been going on over and over in my field, that little sentence. So that's like some kind of mantra that came through for me. So this is a portal, and there's no right or wrong way of doing it, because we are the earth bodies, and the alchemy is going to happen in each one of us within this vessel, where we're allowing more light, where we're allowing more becoming, and where we aren't afraid of losing it all, because by losing it, we're actually becoming more, we're actually gaining. So that's my experience with the star codons. It's not like reading a book. This is also why this is not a book. You can buy the Lost Octave, but you can't buy this, because it's not about a theory that you're here to understand. It's about a feeling that is going to allow you to embody something that is already there, but you're unlocking more and more part of your true self and your naturalness. What is your natural expression of your star law, your star geometry, your DNA? So when we say activating genius or unlocking your potential, this is a very tangible process if you lean into it. So it's not, oh, I read the star codon of the void, I know that, let's move on to the star code of becoming. If that's what you're looking for, then this transmission is not something that's going to be valuable for you.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's definitely this idea that when you take this moment of the winter solstice to have a stop in your life, to lessen, to start to reduce, that's the inner feminine, the maternal DNA that's been within your mother, your grandmothers, your great grandmothers. It's exactly the same code that you hold within you. And so you're working with the natural alignment of nature at this point. And that's the way in which, like Bella's saying, that it becomes a lived, embodied feeling, because you're starting to work with your DNA. And this idea of stopping or the void, like you said, it may be really scary to move into that. But without that, the next, you don't give yourself a chance to birth yourself into another frequency. It's like, that's why sort of holidays or days off, these things that are gapped, these breaks that we may have for 10 minutes, these are all stops within our genetic code where we can then see and from a different perspective and experience something. So if you can, this is the invitation to, from this point through to the Christmas morning, is to see if there are places in your days where you can stop, because that will actually be in accordance in the rhythm of your feminine, your maternal DNA. So we can start to see about if there's any questions as well coming through, just whilst I share about the star codons, that there are 52 of these. And so when we're sharing, we're actually doing this whole 1 year course that we've kept open until the new year. And so each one is so deep with all of the parts, and then the transmission itself. And then we have our embodiment practices of the secret of the golden lotus. And so if this calls to you over the next few days, or as you're listening to this, then go and check out the website, have a look. We have introductory videos on there that you can listen to, and you can start to journey. And it's been really great so far. It's been so profound already within our group, and it's only been the first month. So many things have happened and different experiences are happening within the group, and it's this pioneering work that it's come through at this time in this speed, because it's this awakening that's happening within the very cells of our body with the feminine expression. So I just want to show you a little bit about how we can start to see some of these gates and geometries. And so we call this the 4D star codon of independence that houses 16 gates. And these 16 gates are all linked in different dimensions. And so here is the Venus star geometry. And it's actually the star within a star. It's the same geometry that I use for the Lost Octave. It's a hypercube. It's a fourth dimensional frequency, which means that it's moving in the astral field as well, which is like the emotional field, the emotional body. And so this is where all of these are linked to our ancestry, to our lineage of time in the past and into the future. And it's so important that we move through these emotions within these gates. And so to give you an idea in here, these are the names of these star codons in this geometry. And we started with Eve, and we went into Adam, and our last call yesterday was Eros. And it's so beautiful how we started with the feminine, the masculine, and then how they actually work and dance together. And that's why we have this Eros and Tantra, because it's the weaving of the DNA. It's bringing masculine and feminine together through our genetics, through the astrology. And then it goes into really deep aspects of honoring the sovereignty of independence, yet working together. It then brings up the idea of what is the boundaries, what's the moral compass between relationships. And then after that happens, we move into the activation of the Kundalini to ignite that fire of the union. And that's when we move into the ineffable, which is the transcendental, the all, right? The unspeakable. And then we move into this void of the cosmic mother womb to be reborn into this new becoming. And so this entire process narrates literally the story of our origins and what we are currently going through to move and birth ourselves into the new Aquarian age. So this is only part one of 5 sections. We have the 40 days and 40 nights, which is 4 of these. And then we have the 5th one, which takes us, after we've done all of that sort of deep tracing back our roots in our lineages to first Eve and to Eden, we then accelerate through the dimensions all the way through into the 9th dimension, in fact. And I've calculated the genetic code all the way through into the 9th dimension. So this really is this multi-dimensional human that isn't about moving out to experience that. It's about the multi-dimensional self within human form. That's what I feel is the next stage of our evolution, is to know ourselves, to be able to tap into the dimensions within ourselves, these layers, and to ignite all of these nadis, these energy lines, these codes that are perhaps dormant or blocked or not fully maximized within your own DNA. And that's where the science of epigenetics is one of the most profound insights into how you can activate these.
Yeah, those of you that know me, I've been speaking about Tantra and life force from the very, very beginning. And there are people saying, what does that have to do with human design? What does that have to do with gene keys, right? And here we have this next iteration of what's coming through in the living transmission. It's a very different process to go through the gates in this way than, for example, what we're doing with the transit when we're walking around the wheel. When we are walking around the wheel, with the sun in all of the stargates, that is a lot about the awareness and the attunement to understand those energies. And it opens up for more choice, it opens up for more possibility and more wisdom every time we go around, right? That's the solstice, we come around, and there are spirals of evolution. However, what I feel with the process that we're doing with the star codons, and I would like that list with the words to be able to speak to it.
Getting there.
So this is the order. I have been speaking about initiations when we have been on here before with the star codons. It's a different kind of initiation because, like Rob was saying, we're starting from the very start. We're starting in Lemuria. We're starting with the first Eve. We're starting with Adam, the water bearer who comes from the future and meets him. So we're starting with the inner feminine and masculine, the prime yin and the prime yang. And then they are meeting in Eros. Then they are playing and feeling and living and meeting life in Tantra. And then they realize sovereignty that was there all the time, not being thrown out of Eden, but creating Eden in our bodies and with the beloved in that mirroring. And there's a morality to that. We all know that these are themes that are not that easy for humanity to deal with. And the life force and the ineffable that is in going into those processes. And then what we were just speaking about today, like dying to it over and over and over again as you're becoming more human, as you're becoming more cosmic, as you're recreating that Garden of Eden. So for me, the way that we're walking through all of the stargates in the star codons, it's a process of embodiment. And there's no other way than to meeting it and facing it like over and over again. And every single star codon is an opportunity to meet yourself on a deeper plane, to embody more of what you are. Also to look at those places, for example, in the star codon of Eros, is all the armoring that we create, because again, it is a bit scary to evolve. It is a bit scary to become not only more aware, but to also embody that awareness, the expansion of consciousness, but how is the evolution of that consciousness into form. So what I feel is the star codons is so much bringing the more feminine way of embodiment. And we need both. We need awareness. We need the consciousness to evolve. But the most extraordinary thing being an earth being is to bring in that into form, the evolution of that consciousness in here and now. And that kind of metaphor for the Garden of Eden that we are recreating. Through doing that, what we are realizing is that we were never thrown out. So I hope that you are going to get a little glimpse of this as well as we're going into the Star Cone of Void with a meditation and just feeling what's already there. Because what is truth and what is love is not going to die, right? So it doesn't matter. It can be scary, but what's really essential is still going to be there when you come out on the other side of the solstice. And the only way of really knowing that for sure is to go through these processes over and over again and die to life and die to life and die to life and letting ourselves being the breathing material of the cosmos and of the evolution.
Yeah, beautiful. It's a really great journey. And I'm just looking, we have gate 1 and gate 64 that are actually harmonically linked in the fourth dimension. So the alpha and the omega in the 64 system. So it's so rich to dive in here and see alignments of gates that are normally seen. And that's what the DNA shows you. That's what the next dimensions show you. And it really is, as Bella's sharing, it's such a great journey to be on, to discover these new connections.
The star codons are not afraid of going to the places where we have taboos, where we usually don't want to look, where we have armoring. They're going right in to the creation, right into our sexuality, right into meeting the other completely naked, right into those questions of morality, of sovereignty, right? And also like just knowing in this world what we're dealing with in 3D, with the whole porn industry, with the ways that we're living out our life force, going more in a downward spiral than an upward spiral. So all this is also coupled with those embodiment exercises where we're learning to feel our Kundalini, to move our Kundalini, to actually be sovereign in the way that we can circulate our own energy. There is no other true way of starting, because if we put that to the side and deal with later, it's almost like the script is already in some kind of corruption from the beginning. So for me, the fact that we're going here first and we're looking at those places first, that also makes the whole journey being more in integrity than starting somewhere out there and going into the center of it.
Yeah, for sure. This is a gift from us to you at this Christmas time, so that you can feel and be in the energy field of the star codons, and just to know that each one of you that are listening to this, there is a reason why you're doing that. There is something within you that is longing to be awakened, activated by this, to go in deeper, and that's the invitation into all of this. I think it'd be good just to flow into the vibes.
So when we do the meditations, this also goes back to the naturalness of the body, to the heaven over lake. Right now, as you're tuning into this, I would like you to feel into, what does your body want to do? You know, some of us, we really like to feel that middle pillar, to sit up and to be in that trance, maybe focusing on the third eye. That is the way that some of us tune into meditation. And there might be some of us that actually love laying down, and you just want to feel the earth under you. So you just want to lay down on your back, for example. There might be people that are more into the Taoist, and you want to do standing meditation and just stand and feel like the tree, right? As this is coming in. So I would like you, as we're preparing for going into the meditation, to feel what is the movement, because also Rob was speaking about this kind of gliding or sliding in between dimension. So how can you support your vessel, your body right now, so that you can allow yourself to receive this and to go wherever your vessel wants to take you? I feel that's important. And maybe change it up. If you always do it in a certain way, maybe there's some other way to try as well.
As Bella said, you can lay down, you can sit in meditation, however you wish. Wherever you are, wherever you're sitting or laying down, just tune in to these energies, frequencies. Allow them to pour into your space, into your room, feeling this beautiful water starting to fill your room and space. Allowing these beautiful etheric spiritual waters just to rise all around you. Giving yourself permission just to float. As you feel the buoyancy of the water rising from underneath you, taking the weight of your physical body, and as you look up, you see that your roof, your ceiling is starting to dissolve, revealing the sparkling starlight, this great star map above you. Seeing the twinkling stars calling to you, speaking to you. And as these waters rise, they start to lift your physical body from the space you're in, your home, your village, your city, and just allow these waters to carry you, the primordial waters from the mother, from Mother Gaia. As you start to lift freely towards the stars, as if a great river is carrying you all the way to this beautiful star called Sagitta, the first Decan in Capricorn. This great arrow of Zeus, the lightning bolt, the arrow of truth shot from Sagittarius, of pure light, like a shooting star in the night sky. You start to lift from the atmosphere of Earth, of Mother Gaia, into the great space. As upon this beautiful midnight blue backdrop are billions of stars sparkling all around you. As you move past planets and asteroids and feel the magnetic pull of this great star, Sagitta, this constellation, beaming you, attracting you towards it. As you can start to feel the radiance of its light, this beautiful, otherworldly starlight falling upon your body, feeling its essence, its vibration, and allowing it to permeate all the way through into your bones. As your body is made of stardust, of thousands and billions of years old, as you feel this home calling, this communion, and as you move deeper and deeper into space, traveling at light speed through the etheric fields and towards the great sea of dark matter. And as you move towards the light, you start to tune into what it is that you would like to let go of. You start to reflect upon your entire year and the memories that you hold. As the ancient star law of Sagitta is the lightning rod, the lightning bolt that is here to release you from any emotions, mental afflictions, any disharmony, any unrest within your body and field. It is the lightning bolt at the winter solstice that allows the dissolution, the deconstruction, the disentanglement of all that you do not need and that does not serve you at this time. So just allow the energies of this to start to leak out of your skin and your pores, start to separate and release these energies into the field, giving thanks and love to all the lessons that you have learned, so that you may be reborn anew without these burdens, any guilt or shame, any unjust, any friendships or relationships that you do not need, giving gratitude and thanks as you allow them to be released from your body now. As you are pulled into the attractive field of Sagitta, as you allow this cascading lightning energy to evaporate, release, releasing these energies from your body, your tissues, the cells. And as you do this, feeling the expansion, the freedom, the weightlessness, as you completely allow your body to let go, relax, and float in the full trust of this great Stargate. As you start to see this beautiful blackness opening within the star, as we call in this beautiful hexagram, this Stargate 10 within the great wheel, opening a portal and allowing you to step fully into the void. As you float into the sacred blackness through these etheric waters and feel the warmth and the coolness upon your skin. In this space of complete blackness, there is rest, as there is nothing to think about, nothing to do, nothing to see or perceive, only the void. The void of all things. As you can perceive this emptiness that resides within the form, as you are now between worlds, between the shards of time, in open emptiness. As you start to merge with that field and become one with it. And in this great peacefulness, you start to feel the memories of when you were in your mother's womb, as you realize that you are now back in the great cosmic mother womb of all creation. In this vast space, you span the eons of time, as you are now outside of time into the timeless. As you let go of all activity and all motion and all orientation and move into being without agenda, shape or form, being as your true essence of spirit. As you take refuge in the great cosmic mother womb of regeneration, of rebirth, in the sacred blackness, as you take this chance, this opportunity, just to rest and rest here for a while and allow the vibration to move in, through and around you. And in this great letting go, an allowance of the energies, you start to perceive a new light out of the void. This new light is forming all around you as an iridescent aura of otherworldly colours and light. And with every breath you take, it becomes brighter and brighter. As your light starts to beam from within, beaming into the darkness of space. And you feel energized, rejuvenated, restored, and ready to start the new. This great point within the great wheel is the stop codon within your DNA that aligns with the natural movements of the divine feminine flow. This pause, this stop in the genetic code is the winter solstice point, the coolness of winter, the hibernation moment that we can celebrate all of the light of the sun that moves into rest. As the 72 hours, the sacred 3 days, moves, and then the new light, your light, is born on this sacred day. As the longest night is reborn into the new day, the new light. As you see the Stargate of hexagram 10 opening its window back into the world of form. And you exit the void, descending effortlessly upon these great waters, birthing yourself through this tunnel of iridescent light, feeling yourself descending through the layers and dimensions and densities, regathering your form, your body, your sensations, but now with a lightness, a brightness of new understandings. As you exit the portal of the void, floating in this feeling of being held by the great cosmic mother, giving great thanks for her recalibration, for her regeneration, knowing that you can visit this place at any time, as you now start to descend back towards your space, towards your room where your physical body is. And just feeling the joy of what this physical body brings. The ability to feel, to touch, to taste, to hear, to see. As you feel yourself now anchoring back into your physical body, connecting deep all the way through to the center core of the earth and anchoring this new vibrational frequency, this iridescent aura that is all around you. As you take a deep breath in, and let everything go, relaxing into the body. As we give great thanks to this beautiful vibration, this new encodement within our DNA, and a reminder to take the stop in life, to recalibrate, as we feel the maternal DNA codes and the star codon of the void now activated within your own divine blueprint in human form. Welcome to the star codon of the void.
Please be gentle with yourself, because it is powerful and it is a portal where we are now.
Yeah, beautiful. And just enjoy it. Enjoy this time of year and enjoy traveling through this star codon. And as I said, me and Bella wanted to share this gift out to the community, into the field, and to allow this to be activated and come alive. We are the living transmission of this, and this is speaking from inside us. I wish you all a beautiful Christmas time, Yuletide season, and winter solstice, ready for the new year energies. Thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, thank you, Rob. Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful. Thank you. Bye.